Fellas, um, I'm just going through our list from Denmark and our Sweet 16 stuff. The first thing I asked you guys to do was just to turn your brain off and just play full speed on Friday. And I thought that you did that. I was looking for two things. The first one was pad level. Most of the pad level was good. Better maybe than I thought it was going to be, so that's a credit to you guys. A few of the younger guys were still a little bit high. Rowan was a little bit high, but you're also, 6'6", 6'7". But we're always working on that low pad level. The next thing we were looking for was the extension. Okay, and remember, we're always leading with our hands. Tristan, sometimes you were short-armed on your extensions, so get yourself in a good position. If you come out with the long arms, leading with the hands, that's going to make things easier for you if you can stay extended and locked out. Okay, so I'm just going to go down the list and tell you what we need to do for Random Lake. Oh, I forgot to mention, the cool thing watching the film was everyone made plays. Just to a person. Daniel made plays, Christian made plays, Owen made plays, Connor made plays, Braden, Tristan, everyone made plays. So it looked like you guys were having fun out there. Okay, so the first one is alignment on our Sweet 16. That's one that the younger guys were having problems with, especially early. We were running some Eagle stuff, some G, some under, and guys up front would get misaligned. Specifically Kobe, just make sure that you're always locked in as far as what we need to do and where you're supposed to be lining up. And Owen, you're on that weak side end, remember, or you're on that weak side, so you're going to be aligning on that tackle. You got to split that guy, so his outside foot should cut right through your crotch, right? And your inside hand is going to the midline, and your outside hand is free on his outside shoulder. Okay. Sometimes you were drifting too far outside of him, and sometimes you were drifting too far inside. Hand placement. If you get your alignment right, hand placement usually gets to where it's supposed to be. Pad level, we mentioned earlier, I thought pad level was, as a group, was good, and that starts with, if you're shocking with your hands first and long arms, your pad level will fall into place. Number 4 was violently separating. Tristan, we still want longer arms. Boom, lock that thing out. Yeah. Depth to heels I thought was good, especially, I know Coach Hartwig commented on one play that, Connor almost ran a play down from backside because as soon as he got to heel depth, he broke down and then made his angle of pursuit instead of going too deep. Again, you go too deep, you take yourself out of the play. So get to heel depth, and then we find out where the ball is. Squeezing. This is one thing we can really improve upon going into Random Lake. Specifically, Tristan, that guy lines up, you line up on that tackle, you have to collide and squeeze that thing down. You just can't let him run down inside you. Then, once you collide, make sure you squeeze down without going too deep. If you go too deep, that's when you get kicked out. Or you take yourself out of the play. So you got to make sure that you get on that tackle, boom, and squeeze that thing down with your inside leg up. As far as squeezing down on the strong side end, so we're talking about Braden now and Christian, you have a tight end in front of you, you can't let him go. Boom, you have to stand him up, straight up, and then you have that C gap to the inside. So if that tight end is running up and down the field, we're in trouble. Okay. Next, spill the pull. We didn't see a lot of pulls. We'll still work on spilling the pull. We can do same shoulder and we can do wrong arm. But whatever we do, as long as the strong end makes contact, checks his read key, and closes it down without getting deep, even if you don't do a wrong arm spill, you will still be in the right position. Or that weak side end, boom, if you're squeezing and colliding your tackle above you and squeezing that down, you're going to be in the right position. Our 3 techs, if you get a guy crossing in front of you, make sure that you collide and squeeze that if you're playing half man, okay? Because then there's going to be a pull, a short pull, a trap coming back to you. Cross the face. We always want to cross the face of an offensive lineman if we're making our angle of pursuit to the ball. We didn't have too much problem. One time I saw Kobe was on a 3 technique. He's on the left side. The play went to the right, and instead of crossing the face of the offensive lineman, he ran around the offensive lineman, right? So we said that's like electricity. Electricity takes the path of least resistance. We don't want you to take the path of least resistance. We want you to fight into that pressure, cross his face, and take an angle of pursuit to the ball. Escapes, we're always going to work on escapes. Remember, ear to ear, boom, block it out. You have a free hand escape and you have a midline escape. Midline escape is the one that's taken a little bit of time, but that's to be expected. What I want to try this week is, if you know it's a passing down, okay? If you know it's a passing down, I want you to work on a quick escape, which means as soon as you see the offensive lineman's hands come to you, again, this is a passing down, this is 3rd and long, or it's short time or something like that, but you know it's a passing down. As soon as those offensive linemen's hands come to you, even before they get on you, boom, 2-on-1, cup, rip, cup, swipe, something quick, right? Even before his hands get on you, just hit it and go. So we'll work on quick escapes. Number 10, read your key. That's for our strong end. Okay, we're gonna really work this week on, you have your contact key, usually your tight end right in front of you, and then your read key is the hip of that tackle. So if you see that you're getting open to the outside and that hip of that tackle is going down, that's when you snap under. If your end comes to you and you see that tackle hip, that's when you fight that reach. Nobody beats you to the outside. And then if you see that end come inside of you, that's when you collide and squeeze that thing. So understanding your read key. There were a couple times, Braden, you did a really nice job when you came under. A couple times you missed it, but that's why we have a scrimmage. Splitting the double team, I was talking to Connor, and they said, well, we had some problems with our double teams because we were getting rolled up. I think the reason you're getting rolled up is you know where the double team is coming from. That's the knee that goes down. The other thing that you have to remember, though, you're going to go over unless you post the leg away. Okay, so my camera right now is sitting on a tripod. So you need that one tripod leg away from the double team. The other thing I should mention about double teams is hit your double teams when you need them. If you're playing, let's say we're playing Random Lake this Friday, and guys are double teaming you and they're not moving you, you don't need to hit a knee and post. You can just beat it and split it. So you have to know who you're playing against and whether you can handle them or whether you need to hit that knee and hit that post. Okay, so that's our double team. Turf Pride was pretty good. A couple times we got moved out of our little area. We call that getting washed out. Well, we really didn't get guys washed down so much. So before the snap of the ball, you look at that little box around the offensive lineman's heels. You look at where you got to get to, and that's that little piece of ground that you have to hold. Okay? Just remember that little drill we did under the chutes. That's your area. Deep is the deepest. Remember, when the quarterback goes back, you can only get as deep as the quarterback gets. When the quarterback starts coming up, that's when you have to bull rush and you have to close that box. CPR, right? Deep is the deepest, wide as the widest. So especially the guys on C gap. And for our defense right now, that's our weak end and our strong end. Nobody can get outside of you. You're going to be the last stop out there. Now, if we start doing some exchange stuff, that'll change, and our overhangs will get into the containing the pass rush. But right now, if you're the C gap player, quarterbacks cannot get outside you. Tosses cannot get outside you. Okay. The last two, screen double backs 15 and root hogs 16. Screen double backs, we didn't see any screens, but we'll just kind of review this. On the screen double backs, the guys that have CPR, usually our ends, they are still pursuing the quarterback. They're keeping him in the box, and they're making sure that they don't get any deeper than him. And then the guys that double back, once you sniff a screen, will be our A and B gap players. So that'll be our nose and our tackle. You smell it, you just retrace your steps. And then the last thing is we didn't really have any calls for root hogs, but if we do, remember, we're busting through the thigh boards at leverage and just trying to create piles. Good. So that's what we're working on this week. The big emphases for this week, I think, would be speed rushes. I think it would be making sure that our strong ends understand the difference between colliding and squeezing, between snapping under the fan, and between fighting the reach. And we want to make sure that our weak ends are colliding and squeezing. That's it. I think we're going to have a good week. So show up every day, have a good attitude. Practices will seem a lot shorter because they're going from 5.5 hours down to about 2.5 hours. And it's time to go. So get all your work in, watching this, get all your work in on the field, and then Friday just turn your brain off and just run. All right? See ya.